leftists are capable of feeling. And that is the type of exhaustion you get when you listen to liberals have political opinions that matter. It's like, you believe like, sort of like, people should have health care and racism is bad, and then all of the things that keep your goals from happening, you oppose. Anyway, we're about to experience another one of these events because Krystal Ball had, and her co-host Sagar, they had my senator in Michigan, Elissa Slotkin, in. Full disclosure, so my conflict of interest is made aware. I voted for Elissa Slotkin, but I did it angrily and with a sour taste in my mouth. There's a reason that Kamala Harris lost in Michigan, and part of it was that down ticket it wasn't that much better for the Senate race, but she is better than the Republican that was running, who was just a full-on fucking transphobe. So, but Elissa Slotkin is a Zionist. We're gonna sit here and watch this. This is, from what I hear, some of Krystal Ball's finest work.
Joining us now is Senator Elissa Slotkin of Michigan. Senator, thank you very much for joining us.
Why didn't she had like a this could get quirky vibe going in.
Thanks for having me.
We have a very limited amount of time. This is the internet, so you're here, and it's important that we ask some of the questions that are animating some of the younger voters and others. I assume that's part of the reason that you're here. The first is about Jeffrey Epstein. This is a story that's really captured a lot of America's.
Ooh, this is smart. Start out with some Epstein stuff that is easy for her to get comfortable in the seat talking to you about. That's smart.
So you're a former CIA officer. Do you think...
Oink. Here, I'm sorry, did you say she's a former pig?
That Jeffrey Epstein had any connections to U.S. or Israeli intelligence agencies?
So, not that I've ever seen or heard.
She is pretty AIPAC'd out. She's very Israel. She likes Israel.
Mm-hmm. But there's
asked?
No, I haven't asked. But, this is like a solvable question because President Trump's CIA director, John Radcliffe, can answer this question, right? There is no shortage of people in this administration who can answer that question. I would be very surprised. I'm going to be honest. I know your views on it. I would be surprised.
Okay.
But I'm like a Middle East analyst. I was doing my time going after terrorist groups and militias in Iraq. And
boo.
So I never saw it. I never heard anything about that. I, again, would be surprised, but there's an easy way to solve that problem.
Well, that's the question then. So in terms of, because I know you've expressed some concern about classified information, et cetera, in the past, would you be fine then with the full release of these Trump Epstein files, even if they did reveal an intelligence connection?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, like, it's such a distraction from, in my mind, like what I really care about, which is helping people like live well in Michigan.
Hear me out. Pretty much all of the important players in the current socioeconomic situation that is keeping Michiganders that you say you care about in their current situation, many of those players are on the Epstein list. To simply remove them from the board in a sweeping RICO case of pedophilia and corruption would not be bad to me. We're talking about drain the swamp. How about we get rid of some fucking pedophiles once in a while, huh? There's not many things Americans can agree on nowadays, but I think we can say the kitty fuckers are bad. I think that's okay to say. I am brave enough to say if you're trying to have sex with teenagers, you're kind of fucked up. You're kind of a fucked up person, and in this case, it's pedophilia, man. They were trafficking people. Donald Trump was fucking upset the other day about Epstein like poaching his fucking workers in the trafficking business. It's just crazy. It's crazy stuff. This is for now going to go all strapped under, but it's not a distraction. They're trying to distract from it. I think this is a significant case of interest to not just American people, but like the citizens of the world. Many of the victims, all of them, seeing like righteously seeing justice, but also like this is a spanning comprehensive list. I think collectively the American public is like, Bill Clinton's on it, Donald Trump's on it, probably some top Israeli officials, maybe some Russians, stuff like that. And then from there you can just see like this edifice starts to crack away as you take out the power players that are there. And then Elissa Slotkin, maybe, I don't know, your CIA brain can like think about this maybe this is too red string theory or whatever, but couldn't you see like an easier path towards power for non-fascist, non-pedophiles in the vacuums left behind by fascist pedophiles?
Just get it over with and get it out. And this wasn't like my issue. It's still not the thing that wakes me up in the morning and I want to work on. But I think it's okay to say it's a full distraction now in Washington. Everyone's talking about it. So just unveil it. Do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, just unveil it. Man, I don't like how blasé she is about it. This sounds to me like a politician being like, oh, well, I was just a junior senator. I didn't know who was on there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, and if it burns some of my people along the way to my rise, then who cares? Like, I don't know.
Answer the questions and move past
Well, that's the last question then. So there's some accusations here from the Republicans on Epstein here, just about, why didn't you care for over 4 years? I know you asked the question in 2020. You said, I don't care particularly about Bill Clinton, et cetera. I mean, that's somewhat understandable, but, we do have a person, very specific circumstances, let alone, the sex trafficking organization, others. So, why don't you answer that question? Like, why is this now is the time that you do care?
Yeah,
Or do you just not
obviously,
particularly care?
I like grilling her a little bit here.
It's horrible when you have a pedophile and someone who had a literal pyramid scheme of recruiting 14 and 15-year-old girls for illegal sex. I mean, it's horrible. At the time, I sort of saw it as like one of these horrible stories that comes out every 5 months, about somebody.
Like the way she talks about it, every 5 months, a well-connected billionaire who owns an island and flies all of the world's most elite fucking political people gets caught? I don't think so.
I think the Weinstein thing had happened.
The Weinstein thing is not similar. Weinstein was using his place to like exploit women that he was like employing directly. Like he was like he wasn't, to my knowledge, trafficking people to a private island and then collecting dirt on all of the billionaires that he brought to the sex parties. It's like she doesn't get it. That's crazy. I can't believe the liberals don't get it. Why am I mad already? It's just something. I don't even really care about the Epstein files as much as this, but I don't know. It's kind of her answers are annoying me.
There weren't Michiganders, to my knowledge, who were involved, women, young girls who were involved. So I kind of saw it as like a horrible moment, but not particularly something that's like going to decide whether someone in my state can buy a house or get a good job.
God damn it. It doesn't have to be in my top 5 fucking thing. This is what I just said. Like, I don't care about it like I care about getting health care for people, but those aren't in competition, man. You could do both. Why can't you do both? It's ridiculous.
So to me, it was just like a...
Dude, it really seems like she's trying to position herself as like on the right side of history, but not too on the right side of history, so she doesn't get burned by the way she, has connections.
It wasn't like a strategic issue,
Got it.
right, for me. And then
it wasn't a strategic issue. What did I just say? It's not a strategic issue for me. To talk like that is so weird.
now it just is like grown. And I think there is a difference between saying some rich guy or a former politician was named in those things versus the president of the United States. That to me is apples to oranges, because one of them is leading the free world and one of them's not. So if his name is in there as it appears it is, just like deal with it and let's get on with it at this point.
That's a weird way to talk about Bill Clinton. Like you're saying, well, his pedophilia is worse because he's president. I don't think it is. It's exactly the same. They were both president. It's exactly the same. It's bad.
Point. And, my 10-year-old nephew understands that the president is trying to dodge, trying to distract, trying to talk about other
Krystal
things.
does not look
he hates answering this question.
like she's
we
having a
get
good
it.
time.
So it feels off to the average person, right? To a 10-year-old, they're like, did he do something, right? So just get through it, get it out, and let's move on to real, for me, like real economic issues.
So
Wow. Real issues, not trafficking. I don't know, dude. She's not good at this.
Then if piece of legislation comes forward, you
Yeah.
would vote for it to support the release of the files.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So then
Sure.
let's talk about future of the Democratic Party. I know that's something you've been interested in. Democratic approval hit an all-time low from the Wall Street Journal. At the same time, we've seen the rise more recently of some anti-establishment candidates, people like Zoran Mamdani.
Yeah.
Give us some of your thoughts there about the future of the Democratic Party, and
Yeah.
particularly in the context of Mamdani's victory in New York City.
Wow, that's a good question. That when you ask liberals, they start shaking in their boots. So, like, here's what liberals have to grapple with. Usually it's a cope of like, oh, it's New York, so like maybe they'll go further left. Like AOC is out there, I don't know, like, oh, they're hipsters. They have to deal with the reality that he is a popular candidate and that his politics are explicitly leftist, which means they're not liberal, which means that's not what the Democrats are about. So how do you answer? It can only be negative, right?
Well, I guess as a good Midwesterner and Michigander, I'm never going to say that what happens in New York City represents all of America. Sorry, we're a big country, and I would never pretend to totally understand New York City politics. I didn't particularly understand Eric Adams. I didn't particularly understand, I genuinely, right?
Sure.
But I think the message and the hot take.
Why is she? What is this like? Oh, we're just Michiganders. We don't understand nothing. Like, huh? I know she legally represents us from a state perspective, but this is not representative of my experience as a Michigander. Pretty locked in here, man. God damn it. Well, I don't know. Shut up.
Out of that election is actually not terribly dissimilar from what we heard in the November election when Trump won, right? Which is people are still focused on the cost of living and not being able to achieve what they thought they could achieve, right? And then number two, people are looking for a new generation of leadership. I don't think it's hard to miss those hot takes. I can have plenty of disagreements with what I've heard Mr. Mamdani propose, and I do. But that
Like what?
message coming out of that election.
What do you disagree with?
Great question.
My family was a fourth generation hot dog business. Like
Okay.
I am here because we
Okay.
live the American dream through capitalism.
Okay.
Let me see the hot dogs. Ballpark Franks? Yeah. Well, so my corporation family has always benefited from capitalism. By the way, this family genuinely does not buy Ballpark Franks. They're trash. We buy Kogel's. It's a real Michigan staple, okay? You buy good hot dogs, not Ballpark shit. They're bad. Don't buy Ballparks. Anyway, this is a terrible fucking argument. Well, it worked for me. Why can't everyone sell hot dogs? Because if they do, no one will want them. Well, then you're just going to have to corner the market elsewhere and make your own empire on some other kind of tubular meat.
And so, like a lot of free stuff, to me, is not the answer. I don't think it's sustainable. I
A lot of free stuff? Bus?
don't think that it actually fixes the underlying problem. But I can have those disagreements. I think this is I would be thrilled to have that conversation with him or anyone else.
Oh, really? Like the two people sitting across the table from you? Do you think she will feel thrilled throughout this entire event? I feel like she will get less thrilled throughout the run time of this.
About like, hey, we agree that there's an economic problem here.
Problem.
What we do to solve it, let's have that debate. And adults can debate and not like want to kill each other's children.
Well, let's talk then about
Whoa, not want to kill each other's children. Aren't you pro-Israel? Or why would you say that? Why would you say the thing? Why would you say that thing?
leadership. So you just talked about that. We see a lot of that from our
Dude, Krystal's blinking like me, trying to keep the rage in.
show. Some of the Democratic side of our audience is furious with Democratic leadership. I mean, do you still support Chuck Schumer's leadership here? He's going to
Say no.
give an interview in about a month.
Say no.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, for me,
You didn't know what? That people don't like the Democratic leadership? You didn't know that? You just said that people want younger leadership. What didn't you know?
I've now served in the Senate for 6 months, in the House before that. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have hard jobs, like herding cats. It's not fun. I've said for a very long time, long before I got into the Senate and long before President Biden dropped out, that we need a new generation of leadership. You can feel it in, and I think at this point, I mean, especially New York, right? You're looking at New York, it's like, I'd rather roll the dice with someone new than have like the warmed over leftovers that I've already known. So I think we have a problem with that across the board.
Calling Andrew Cuomo warmed up leftovers is funny.
And I think one of the things I can do as the youngest Democratic woman in the Senate, and I'm not young. I'm just young for the Senate. To be clear.
You're young for us.
Yeah. I mean, is push on that and try to give younger leaders a voice in this party in a very real way.
Yeah.
And to me, that's upward pressure. That pressure that you're talking about from the people is good.
So then shouldn't they endorse him? I mean, what kind of a message Schumer and Jeffries, shouldn't they endorse?
They're both from New York.
Donnie, they're both New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of a message does it send if, like, I mean, this guy won the Democratic primary.
Yeah.
He is the Democratic nominee.
Yeah.
It was overwhelming. If then the
She speaks up finally.
centrist leadership
Yeah.
of the party said, we can't get behind him.
I mean, you just asked me before we started the exact same question about the Michigan Senate primary, and I'm like, Michigan Democrats don't get involved in primaries. We all are friends. So I can't speak to what they're doing.
I would definitely get involved. So I have to be a CIA operative to be in Senate or what?
I think, I hope that they're meeting. I mean, if this person is...
They did.
Yeah, okay.
And
I'm sorry.
Hakeem Jeffries still refused to endorse him. I mean, think about it from this context. Like, let's say in 2028, a more moderate figure wins the Democratic primary, and a bunch of progressives, AOC or whoever says, we're not backing, we don't agree with you.
Yeah.
I feel like you would have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, I
Good
think...
question.
I will say this.
I feel like you'd have a problem with that.
The
True.
way that this party works is when there's a coalition that sticks together. That's like a numbers issue. That's a data
Numbers and data. Cool. So Chuck Schumer should endorse Zoran?
issue. And so I'm always going to be someone who's trying to find unity. That doesn't mean we all agree with each other. And I think I wasn't in the conversations where they met privately. What they debated, what they talked about, I don't know. But to me, we got to figure out what's common among all Democrats right now, and that's why I focus on the economy, because that is, to me, the cost of living.
That's
and
what Zoran's fucking campaign is, dude. What do you mean, just saying the economy? That's your campaign? The economy! Don't you see? Yeah? We do.
people not being able to achieve what their parents achieved is the existential
So what's your fucking plan? What's the plan?
issue of our time, is the unifying issue of like all the right wing, left wing, like Americans. I don't even think it's a Democratic Party thing.
Of course
And
not. You don't
to
have
me,
class consciousness, though. It's obviously capitalism, dum-dum. They just let anyone be a senator. They literally will let you do it if enough people vote for you. I should have been fucking rich, man. That's how you do it. You have to be born rich. Jake from the hit Twitch channel, Actual Jake. That's right.
That's where I spend my time, because I think 80% of my constituents in Michigan, that's where they live, is like, I just want to be able to go to Disneyland and take my kids the way my dad took me. So that's where I focus on. I'm happy to sit down with any leader. I can't spek to their
I want to be
particular
able to go to
decision.
Disneyland. People are talking about paying their bills. Disneyland. We want health care. It's rich kids, man. Rich kids. She has no idea what it's like to struggle at all.
To endorse or not. I'm not endorsing in my own
Right, but just
primary.
the last question on the
he won the primary.
Right, that's my question.
That's what's different.
in
By
your-
They
12,
haven't, I'm
why
sorry to
12
ask
points.
this. They have another election, though, yeah?
A general election.
general
Yeah.
election.
He is
But
the
it's-
Democratic nominee.
I see. I'm sorry. This is why I'm saying I don't follow New York politics. And I think you'd have to ask them. I don't know. I know that for me, whoever wins the Democratic primary in the state of Michigan for the Senate seat that's up, that's who I will endorse, regardless of who it is.
Why is she pretending to be stupid? I don't know. Maybe she just is. This is like, I've had 10 minutes of this, and she hasn't sounded like she's understood what's going on at all. Like, I'm sure she's intellectually capable of it, but she sounds incredibly ignorant.
That was my last question, so I'm going to turn it to Krystal now.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I'm actually a little curious, and forgive me if this is impolite. Like, I'm curious why you wanted to talk to us.
Great fucking question. Why the fuck are you here? That's awesome.
What do you mean?
Well, like,
yeah.
we don't have actually a lot of senators, especially ones who have very different ideology than us, reach out. So I'm curious what your goal was and why you thought to come here.
Well, first of all, I think you have a good audience. I mean, right?
We agree.
If you appealed to like 4 friends on YouTube or whatever, then I probably wouldn't be here. But I think, to me, part of the problem is that people have kind of gone to their corners. And I live this, right? I live on my family farm in a town that voted heavily for Donald Trump.
Yeah, because you're a fucking capitalist pig. No shit.
I've never won my town. I've never won my precinct. I've never won my neighbors. We get along, but I never won.
Because you're a liberal. You're never gonna. You're blind. CIA operative can't see the fucking reality around her. I don't even understand what you're fucking, like, what are you looking at? Spreadsheets? You don't hear the fucking words coming out of their mouths? The only thing I can understand is that she is one of these, like, maybe she's a Republican operative. I don't know how you sleepwalk through life and you're just a liberal. It must be just a circumstance of, like, economic differences in how I grew up.
I probably never will. So, to me, I think that the people have gone to their corners, and, like, people who used to be able to talk about politics and disagree don't even get in the same room together. So
I fucking disagree. I'd love to have conversations with a bunch of people I disagree with. The problem is Trump voters are fucking cowards. Liberals are fucking too, frankly. You guys, the problem is liberals and Republicans are both so fucking sensitive about the topics because they're wrong. And it's hard to tell people they're fucking wrong. They don't like to hear that they're wrong. They are wrong, but they don't want to hear it. They'll go through every step of denial, starting with anger, typically, to say that they're not wrong.
Kind of like the idea of your show. Like, it was interesting to me when my team pitched me, right? We go through, and, like, there's no hiding it. Lots of people are like, how do we evolve in this new space?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not you know, it's not that conversation isn't happening. It is, and I think that's good, and to the credit of lots of shows like yours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I think your show appealed to me as I was being pitched because you guys don't agree. And, like, I am very focused. My dad was a lifelong Republican, my mom a lifelong Democrat. Like, Michiganders want to get back to a place where we can disagree on politics and not have it be so, like, bitter.
Yeah, but it's only bitter because, like, you're funding genocides, and the opposition to the politics is like, do people deserve to have health care? Should human rights be extended to all people? You know, big issues. We don't have, like, little disagreements. They're big, pivotal, like, they're taking abortion rights away, dumbass. I tell you what, I could win the elections. I could win the elections for the Democrats if they simply listen. I'm sure there's lots of people out here. Like, you stop being liberals. Man, you have to separate yourself from capitalism. I mean, until you do, it's just like you're just never going to get it.
So I hear you on the idea of, like, you want to talk about the economics and the unifying and cost of living. And I think that ignores a big elephant in the room, especially when you're talking about even Zoran Mamdani. The reason Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer don't want to endorse him is because of his position on Israel.
Yep.
The single most viral clip that he had in that election actually wasn't about cost of living, even though that's what he wanted to make his campaign about. His opponents, Andrew Cuomo in particular, wanted to make it all about accusing him of anti-Semitism and attacking him for his views on Israel and Palestine. So the most viral moment from that entire campaign, I believe, was this moment on the debate stage. Guys, this is E1. Let me go ahead and play this for you, and then I want to get your reaction.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
A Jewish state of Israel, just for Mamdani. Nobody else. Can we ask Zoran Mamdani? No reason. By the way, can you step over here to be randomly checked for the airport also? These are 2 separate thoughts. Not related.
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
As a state with equal rights.
Absolutely, as a state with equal rights. Sure.
Now, this was considered very controversial when he said it, and I think the results are in at this point that he didn't win in spite of his position there.
Yeah.
He won in part because of it.
Absolutely. Elissa Slotkin, are you going to be able to have a new fold bent into your brain today and gain some knowledge, or are you just going to, like, pop it out and it's going to smooth itself? Let's see.
Including, if you listen to Andrew Cuomo's numbers, he won a majority of Jewish voters inside of New York City. And so What I'm curious for your view on is, while, I would love to debate you on your healthcare policy. I think we need Medicare for all. You think public option, your housing policy, et cetera. I'm just being really real with you. I don't really hear what you say if you are still supporting a genocide in Gaza.
Facts. Fucking facts. And I love how she framed that. Thank you so much, Krystal. I don't really hear what you have to say if you still support a genocide in Gaza. That's so fucking beautiful. God, this is good work. This is really good work. Quality journalism.
And that's for me. I'm speaking for myself. But I know there are millions of other people who feel the same, that you have to at least cross this sort of moral threshold. And what it indicates to people, and I think part of why, Zoran won so many people in New York City, young people in particular, but Jewish New Yorkers, people across the board, is because it was a sign of, number one, okay, you're focused on New York City first and foremost.
Sure.
Number two, you're willing to take the heat on an issue that is really difficult for you, where you're being overtly smeared as an anti-Semite. And number three,
this is easy,
there's no, entrenched...
Like, I realize it's not easy to, actually face the full force of, the Israeli propaganda machine, the right-wing propaganda machine, and, frankly, the Democrats all at once. Which are, not necessarily that dissimilar of organisms. It's not easy on a personal level for Zoran, I'm sure. And his personal safety has probably been at risk, and he's had to hire security and, be careful about stuff and had to navigate these. But, if you're genuinely convicted on the topic and you're educated to even somewhat, it's pretty easy to defend your position on why Gazans shouldn't be genocided.
Interest that's going to control. You have a spine, you have principles, you're willing to stand up for something. And so, I'm curious for your reflections on that because of your voting record and where you've stood on this conflict.
Yeah, well, one of the proudest moments that I had in my last election, where I just won on the same ballot as Donald Trump, was that I won a majority of Jewish voters in Michigan. We have a large Jewish population. And I won Dearborn Heights, and Hamtramck.
Well, yeah, because down ballot they voted blue, but they didn't vote for you. They voted against the Republican. She's still in, politician mode where it's well, as you can see, the data shows that I did this and won here. Well, that doesn't matter. It's the first time you've been senator. I as a leftist who does not support your politics whatsoever, voted for you because you're not a Republican. The only reason you got my vote is there wasn't a progressive on the list with you. So I frankly feel like I could debate her on this topic and win the election based on that topic. I don't know. I won, so my script is clearly the best. Yeah, it must be.
The 3 Muslim-dominated cities. Trump won 2 out of the 3. So I think the thing that I would push back on is the voters. Voters vote with their feet, right?
What the fuck are you saying? Does not answer the question. You just said, well, as you can see, they voted for me anyways, even though I vote for genocide. You were the only option.
We have a moment in an election where they get to decide. And there was no issue that was more difficult for me in this last, I would say, 6 years, but certainly in this last election, other than this issue, because it's personal. I'm a Middle East analyst by training. And so what I tried to do and why I think I managed to win both those communities is call balls and strikes, literally up to this week, on what's going on.
Call balls and strikes. That's a little baseball terminology for you. So she's trying to say well, when Israel does a bad thing, I say they do a bad thing. And when Hamas does a bad thing, I say it's a bad thing. So she describes them as Hamas, probably.
So let's talk a little bit more about that.
But I think it's important, right? If you're going to push on me, then I think there's one of us that's had an election and had to appeal to my voters.
Yeah, she's like, look, I'm a senator, don't you hear? Only one of us has won an election before. Shut up.
And win. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that Mr. Mamdani won. Or actually, I didn't know his name. I didn't know much about him until he won. But because I think this issue is motivating people.
She forgot she didn't know about him. Great. So now it's I'm an ignorant little guy, but also I'm a CIA analyst. But also I call balls and strikes how I see him on Israel.
In a very visceral and personal way.
Yeah.
But it's not the only issue that my voters in Michigan care about.
Of course.
And the online world is extremely, extremely focused on this, but that doesn't always represent the majority.
That's not even, my experience is definitely that people have this on their mind and do not like it. Yeah, I don't like her tone either. This is why liberals are trash. They're all elitist fucks. Like, Republicans are right about that. Like, Republican voters, when they go like, oh, Democrats just bother me. Like, they come across as elitist cunts. And I totally agree with you. Like, if you watch MSNBC, there's smarm. You know what I mean? You see Bill Maher up there, and he's like, I'm a liberal, even though he's not really. But, like, they still think that. Doesn't matter. Liberals are gross.
And I think if I can push back, like if we're out on the road every day in Michigan when I'm there. In some communities, that issue is the number one issue, 100%. And like, I mean, up till this morning, right? Like people texting my phone and talking about a plan, some of the things we're working on. But I go outside
Talk about a plan, a media plan, how to answer these specific questions and not anger anybody. Dumb.
Right area, it's not in the top 40.
But Senator, it's not just a political issue, it's also a moral issue is what I'm trying to get to. So let's talk about those, calling of balls and strikes, if you will. So first of all, do you accept that Israel has a policy of enforced famine and starvation in the Gaza Strip?
I think.
Because they definitely do.
I literally put my name on a letter yesterday or last night that says like a policy of starvation, people are starting to starve. And in general, I mean, I served in places like Ramadi and Fallujah. I watched in 2004 and 2005, al-Qaeda terrorists drag American citizens behind a vehicle until they died, right? Like horrible, and then string them up, like a lynching.
Okay.
We still had a responsibility to get aid into Fallujah, despite the fact that we were fighting al-Qaeda cells in Fallujah, and I have been clear about that.
So this is a crime against humanity. Forced starvation is a crime against humanity.
The occupying power has a responsibility to get aid into the war zone. Period.
So
you're using your language. You move away from giving Israel direct culpability there. You just say the parameters that should be here, but you don't want to be clipped saying, like, you don't want someone to be able to write down, Elissa Slotkin said Israel is committing war crimes. Politician shit, man. Weak. This is not who I want representing me. Impeached. We should be able to recall senators whenever we want. It should be precarious as fuck.
By the law of war.
So in addition, do you accept that the Israeli plan, as reported by Haaretz, as discussed openly by ministers like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, as backed by the president
and SCOTUS justice, all of them,
the United States, is forced ethnic cleansing?
I think we have, as recently as yesterday,
as recently as yesterday seems to be a thing that she was coached to say for some reason. Like, it sounded like her media advisor told her that to say stuff like that, or it's part of her habit in talking with CIA operatives. Like, it'll make it sound like I'm on the ball if I say as of yesterday, because that's the last time I was briefed in the briefing room with the dossier. It sounds tactical.
Prime Minister of Israel talking about forced migration into certain areas and then potentially out of the country. That is not legal. That is not on any international standard since World War II. And I've been clear about that.
I've been clear about that's illegal, buddy. I'm still going to fund it. It's illegal, though. You want some more money to do it? It made me feel bad if you didn't have the money to do the thing that I disagree with. Strongly worded letter coming your way, BB.
So I would ask for a little bit of an open mind.
Well, what I would ask is, listen, I'm a YouTuber. I have my words. That's all I have. Yeah. But you're a United States Senator. Like you're not the president, but you have power. So what are you going to do? Because so far what we've seen, I mean, you voted for. I
appreciate her using not just her platform to do this, but the opportunity to get as close to the power structure as you can and ask them what they can do about this. Like, fantastic work. Like, and I don't think to call it work is that much. I feel like she was just like excited to have this conversation and very determined. Like, I'm sure she put time in, but man, this feels like, I mean, just like what she really, really wanted to ask. So yeah, she's doing a great job.
Some of the aid that's been used to.
Why isn't she a fucking senator? Let's put her up there. If Marjorie Taylor Greene can do it, all the YouTubers can do it. Okay, that's gonna be my fucking tagline. I need a manager. I need a campaign manager right now. Set up all the things. I'll just move me around to the. You set up all of the issues that it takes. I can't do any of the brain power it takes to be in charge of yet another thing like a campaign, but I can be the guy who yaps during the campaign. Pretty good at that. So, I can be locked in. And here's how we win. Democrats are dumb, okay? Democrats are really dumb. We want good stuff like freedom and healthcare and to be able to just like have a house. We don't need rich people to soak up all of the fucking profits that we're making. And we don't need to fund foreign wars that kill kids. I think it's pretty easy not to do this shit. This isn't even like it doesn't take brain cells. It doesn't even take being a good person, frankly. Like I think you can be honestly kind of a piece of shit and still be like, yeah, I think starving kids is bad. So you have to be like a real fucking bag of shit to be on board with it, in my opinion. Free food for all would be sick as fuck. Free access to produce, local produce and stuff, and regionally local, whatever we can do.
To massacre children and innocents. You have backed Israel, as far as I can tell, from your voting record at almost every turn. You voted for a definition of anti-Semitism that would, codify anti-Zionism as anti-Semitism.
Stupid as fuck. Elissa Slotkin's face changed to, oh shit, she knows stuff.
You voted as a member of the House to sanction the ICC for indicting Benjamin Netanyahu, who you just admitted is a war criminal.
Fuck you for that. I was so fucking mad about that.
By your own words.
Uh-oh. Yep. Oh, yes. Yes. I made a mistake. No. Is she going to say this? Yes, I made a mistake. I'm on the right side of history, actually. No, materially, you're on the wrong.
So are you going to join Senator Angus King, Senator Bernie Sanders?
Real fucking journalism, so refreshing. I mean, this is good stuff. The problem with this is that Krystal's doing such a good job that no senator's going to want to come back. They're all getting destroyed.
And saying no more aid.
To be a top level journalist, you have to be softball. You can't be throwing cheddar up there, okay? You can't be throwing all Uncle Charlie up there and striking everybody out. I got baseball vernacular. You better believe it. You gotta be throwing underhand and letting them crank one out every once in a while. It was so smart to let him start. They had to have talked about this. Like, soften her up with some easy shit. Just, she's stuck here for half an hour. She can't crash out or it's going to look so bad.
To this country that is committing war crimes against innocent civilians.
I think the first thing, if you're asking about what to do with power, and I would offer that right now Democrats own nothing in Washington. So
it's not our fault. It's not our fault. I voted for this stuff. The Republicans in charge did. But, they got no power, okay? I voted against the ICC, saying that Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal doing a genocide. What could I have done? What could I have done? I'm just a little senator. I'm just a little senator. Fuck that, dude. Have a fucking spine. Oh, my God. On this issue alone, materially speaking, maybe a Republican would have been better. Who was the fucking guy? Maybe he would have been just so crazy, he would have been anti-Semitic enough to vote against it. Sort of like Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's not better. He would have been worse. I forget who it was. Massey? Maybe. I don't remember the name of losers.
So don't play powerless with me. You're a United States Senator. There are things you can do.
Thank you for reiterating that in a nicer way, but very still firm. This is why Krystal makes the big bucks.
In terms of who runs our foreign policy, I just think it's interesting, right, that there was a ton of protests when Democrats were in charge.
There was a protest in Manhattan yesterday.
Sorry, Krystal, but I only watch CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, and I only read the New York Times, and the Detroit Free Press, I don't even think they're talking about this. Like, she's literally cooking her. Yeah, it's nuts.
Okay. I think it's fair to say, just to be honest, that back and forth, like the number of protests that go on now versus before.
Well, they were part of your political coalition.
Well, not to mention, I mean, Senator Slotkin,
that's fair.
Obviously, I'm here.
Yeah.
I was very upset over the Biden administration policy. And as you can tell, I'm very upset over the Trump administration policy.
Yeah.
So let's deal not in strawman, but me and
but
here
in
and
terms
now.
of
True. Well, but you guys are mean to us. Have you thought? But you're doing it. You're not doing it to Trump as much as you're doing it to us, and I don't like that.
So the tools that I have, the tools that we have in general, to me, the most important thing is a pressurized campaign to get aid into people who are starving. That to me is the number one, because that's the one is urgent.
So I guess do that.
Urgent and today. And
but will you cut off aid to Israel so long as they're committing crimes against humanity?
There is a difference between a weapon to protect
there isn't.
Country from incoming missiles versus other type offensive and
disagree. I think that you're arming Hitler. Why would you arm Nazi Germany to defend themselves against the Soviet Union, for instance? Or better yet, the Poles or someone they tried to conquer. I guess they tried to conquer the Russians. They just didn't. I don't think we should help the fascist state. I think we should cripple the fascist state and do what America does best, help install new leadership that more aligns with our fucking goals. Let them actually be democratic and Palestinian, preferably. Frankly, I think it should be mandated that it's a Palestinian representative first.
Defensive weapons are different.
So would you support offensive weapons ban? Like, would you stop any offensive aid to Israel?
That certainly, to me, would be a place to look. But
that's a place to look.
I'm not going to cut off a blanket next sale on a defensive weapon.
What the fuck? That's not the question that was fucking asked of you.
I also reject that because, for example, if Senator Slotkin, if you were asked to support defensive weapons for Iran, defensive weapons for Russia, you wouldn't back that.
No, but Iran.
No, but why?
But they're defensive. They're just protecting civilians, right? So how is it different?
But because Israel's being shot at. I mean,
so is
Russia. So is Iran. Yeah. So is Russia.
Ukraine's shooting at Russia right now.
Israel's shooting at Iran. What about the Palestinians?
I'm sorry. This is the difference between allies, partners, and adversaries.
Why is it an ally then? What are they doing right now, which makes it an ally?
I think allied relationships, just like Lithuania right now, like an allied relationship or a partner relationship is a long-standing relationship of information sharing and diplomacy.
So they get to be doing some genocide now and then as a treat? Because you know how how you have that crazy friend. You ever seen that? Elissa Slotkin is like, oh my God, Israel. You're so crazy, but this is a dead baby. She's so crazy, but the corpse of a child that has starved due to Israel's... Just stacks of them all up in the freezers. Just stacks and stacks of children. Their dying corpses, their parents on the ground in front of them. You see, you just put some heads here, some blown off parts. You could just store blood bags around, and then you could just have... Oh my God. She's so crazy. We were allies, so she can do some crazy stuff time to time. It's no big deal. I'd stop being allies with the fascists, personally. I'm pretty easy about stuff. I think if you're chill, I don't have to 100% agree with you. France, great example. I don't agree with 100% of French shit. Okay? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Love fromage. Love some yummies. I'll eat a snail even. I like their little mustaches. We could be pals. But the French start killing everybody for some reason. I don't know enough about France. They start killing everybody that doesn't have a little mustache. I would not be for that. And I would be like, France, we're no longer allies. We're done. This is a toxic relationship. And also, we're coming with our friends to liberate the people with little mustaches. I'm not joking. If I was in charge of the United States, here's my policy. Vote for Jake. They lose all aid, and I'm telling them, I'm going to be there as soon as possible. We will be storming the Palestinian beaches and delivering aid and medicine to every single person there is. If a single one of these people are impeded or a single Palestinian dies in the process of any cause, we will consider that hostility. Have a wonderful day. I love you very much. And then I'd be like, what will it take for peace? And they'd be like, Benjamin Netanyahu thrown very hard against the wall in front of Ramallah. Deal. That's what it takes. I'm art of the deal.
And that is, to me, it's not a like every day we decide Lithuania is our ally or not. Mm-hmm. We're allied or not. And Sometimes we have big breaks with allies, right? Sometimes we have.
Okay, so think a genocide is enough, or what else they got to do? So ethnic cleansing, apartheid, and genocide, that's all pretty bad stuff. So what's going on, man?
Difficult moments with allies. Sometimes it goes the wrong way with allies, but an allied relationship is a long-term relationship.
It's hard for me to understand why we should ally. Like, I'm sure you believe in, like, or claim to believe in liberal human rights. Why would we ally with a nation
Or claim to believe, got her.
that is committing a genocide and live streaming it?
Can I ask, literally, like this, I think about this from the mirror image way, because I do not support the things that Donald Trump is doing, right? But I'm an American. So
Yes.
I want other countries to look at America and be like, we can't stand Donald Trump.
Yes.
So we're going to end any longstanding relationship we have with the American.
I would understand if they would tell us to fuck off and then it was the Chinese century for real.
And people, we're going to cut off any support we give them on information sharing or intelligence sharing. Like, we are not just our elected leaders. And I think that's the thing that's been lost in the conversation.
So
Benjamin Netanyahu's been in power for how long? It's been on and off. Yeah. So he's been in office a few times. He's been indicted on lots of charges, and then because this is very similar to Donald Trump. He was indicted on a bunch of charges. He ran again, and then wouldn't you know it, that he won the election? That's crazy. And then funded Hamas, and then created this situation so that he could not face the obvious repercussions of his actions that should happen. He should be given to the people of Palestine. 70% of Israelis are pro-genocide? Yeah. At the same time, isn't that like a Haaretz poll or something? Aren't they trying to pump those numbers up anyway? So I don't even know. I don't even know what the real numbers are, but I guarantee you it's 70% sounds real when you look at them out there. But then there's a committed group of people that I'm assuming are less loud about it due to the situation. So I don't know. It's Pew? Fuck. Either way, man. Like, you just don't help Nazi Germany.
Well, B'Tselem and another Israeli human rights organization joined the Global Consensus, Amnesty International, some 800 scholars. There was a piece from an Israeli scholar in the New York Times in saying this is a genocide. Do you accept, even Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday came out and said it's a genocide. Do you accept that?
I don't love where Marjorie Taylor Greene sources her disdain for Israel, but I do think it's pretty disgusting that even she can get this right over some of the libs out there.
And if you do, I mean, what responsibility does a United States senator have for, this is a nation that, you know, we send every year billions of dollars to aid that you have, you know, voted for and supported. Like, what responsibility does a United States senator have to prevent genocide and to stop genocide that we see ongoing?
We have a responsibility up till today.
She hasn't sipped from that drink in a while.
To ensure that...
She said up to today again. Listen.
Ongoing.
We have a responsibility up till today to ensure that food is getting in.
Is it
so
a
that
genocide?
People don't starve. I don't know that I'd use that term.
Why? Because it makes you feel bad because then you're culpable? I wouldn't use that term because I literally wrote my name on things that aided it. Dog shit. This is dog shit, Elissa.
Why? But it is violating the law of war.
You have violated the law of war.
Why don't you use the term, though?
Because I think, you know, it's, to me, if
it's got to look more like Hitler. You can't do it slow and deliberately. See, Hitler had smaller cages, and then this one they're just doing one big cage. And so because it's not in smaller cages, that's different. It's different now. It doesn't say work will set you free on the walls. There's just nothing that sets them free.
Do I think it's ethnic cleansing, which is what I think of in genocide? I don't know if it meets that definition.
They're announcing
but didn't you say it earlier that it was ethnic cleansing? You said
woof, 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 woof. This is, dude. Ever since she won, I have not seen a single good interview with her. This is a problem with liberals in general. The only time a liberal looks like an appealing option is when they're talking to Republicans.
that they wanted to force. I mean, this is open from the Israeli government. Like, they're saying it. Their
And from
Minister
Trump,
of National
too.
Security, they come out and they're like, we don't need shells. We need shells, not food. And we need to encourage migration.
Look,
they're saying
you're not going to get me to
Yeah.
support what the Israeli government is saying right now. I think the point I was trying to make is it's not just.
You think the point you were trying to make? I think the point I was trying to make. Like, do you not even remember what you're saying? Do you not know what your convictions are? Doesn't seem like she does. Seems like she has some money ties that make it awkward, and she's trying to tie some things together that wouldn't otherwise be able to be tied. She's doing some cognitive dissonance to get around it.
About, like, we have relationships with nations over time, regardless of who their leaders are.
Stupid.
We have really tough moments. We have easier moments.
This is not a tough moment. This is a genocide. Will we ever feel good about this? Ever? Probably not. If I was a senator, you wouldn't be able to get me to shut the fuck up about this. I would be going on fucking all of the talk shows. I'd be trying to. I hate liberals. I hate it. We need to move on. We need to get away from the liberals. It's so clear they're not even capable of the power that they want. They're not even capable of it. They don't know what to do with it when they have it. They're still like, it's so crazy how liberals, even when they're the people in charge, are like, someone else will take care of it. It's so privileged. It's like there's help around. You are not representative of me.
That doesn't, so I'm not willing to say that, like, I hate everything ever.
Sure,
into
but
the
so
future.
even
I
if
hate everything into the future. What does that have to say? What the fuck? I'm not saying I hate all Israelis when I say they are committing a genocide. No one is. I don't understand why this is how your brain works. I would be going fucking crazy in there. I don't know. She's so calm. They're both so calm. I don't know what this guy's like political opinions are. She said they disagreed earlier. I don't even know what they disagree about.
if you accept that they're committing a genocide, you still wouldn't cut off their aid?
I think that defensive aid and offensive aid are different things.
Oh my God. They should be able to be safe while they commit the genocide. Shut up. Oh my God. He's mega right wing. He's an insane Nazi. I've never even seen him. He's an insane Nazi, and he sounds just. How is he an insane Nazi? By the way, what the fuck? Don't be a white supremacist, brother. They won't accept you.
And I think at this point,
so
what
if
they're
Nazi
doing
Germany,
every single day,
if Nazi Germany said we want defensive aid, I mean, it's just you have to see where they're all weapons.
Come on.
Weapons that are being shipped. You know, in
they're
another
not using
context,
the weapons that they're using right now. I mean, to be honest, if you look at what's happening on the ground, the military part of this conflict is, for the most part, over.
They're bombing still. They're bombing aid tents. They're shooting kids at food pickup. They're killing people while they get flour. What a ghoul. You're a ghoul.
They are doing what they are doing
Senator,
every single day is around aid, and they are hurting people
they have
around the
slaughtered
delivery
over
of
1,000
aid.
people who were starving people just trying to get aid.
That is
I
not
know you
high,
know this.
That's not high intensity bombs. That's not the.
That's not high intensity bombs? Oh, they're just firing into a highly dense crowd. No problem.
It's fine. Do a Vegas-style shooter killing. Just go ahead. While starving people are trying to get aid. Liberals are useless. Liberals aren't just useless. It's like a malignant thing. Because they're upper-class capitalists, basically Republicans, but they're like the kids of Republicans. They're kids of the upper class that they're Nepo babies that disagree slightly with like being mean. Don't be mean about it. Let them be servants, though. Let them be slaughtered when they're inconvenient. We deserve so much better. It's so sad. For leftists to have the lives they want, many of us are not going to be able to even get close. Like, none of us are, really. We have to just, like, burn ourselves out fighting this stupid fucking system so that people will just realize my needs when they are met. It is a good thing. When human beings have what they need, the community thrives. Societal problems are like washed away when people are able to seek fulfillment and joy. And not just toil so that I can have servants. Dumb fucks. Dumb fucks.
Weapons that that we were talking about 2 years ago. It's just not.
Fuck?
I'm sorry. Every single day, the military reports that I read, they are traditional, like, this is a military that has a bad strategy. It is not the bombs that we were seeing 2 years ago.
It's not a military that has a bad strategy. The strategy is forced starvation and ethnic cleansing.
That is not a.
That's their strategy, and
it's a siege. They're laying siege to a city of children. It's hard not to be just like seething mad.
Accomplishing it very effectively with the full backing of the United States government, including, sadly, Democrats.
Well,
and so a couple more questions that I know you have to run. I'm curious why you condemned Rashida Tlaib for using the rally chant, from the river to the sea, something she said for her.
Based Michigan Representative Rashida Tlaib
evokes equal rights. And you have not condemned Randy Fine, who said that Gazans should, quote, starve away, who floated that the Gaza Strip should be nuked, who called Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and Soran as well, called them Muslim terrorists. Where is the concern over him?
I have no problem condemning Randy Fine, who I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know who that person is. I have no problem condemning someone who talks like that.
Senator, we have to ask your last question because your staff is telling us. Do you think AIPAC should register as a foreign lobby?
Did Krystal choose him because he's like, is he woke on Israel or is he anti-Semitic on Israel? Is he like Alex Jones on Israel where it's both woke and anti-Semitic? Where's he at?
I don't know the answer to that. I think that I know plenty of people who think they should.
All right. Pro-Israel America PAC has given her $22,000. American Israel Public Affairs Committee has given her $15,000. Democracy Defenders.
I don't.
It's kind of a cop-out answer, don't you think?
I literally, I just guess I'd have to look at the definition.
Dude, literally every single time she's like, I don't know. I'm just a widow senator. I'm just a widow senator who doesn't know anything. How could I know? I've only been here for 6 months. Yeah, I know that I signed a bill that put bombs in the arms of Adolf Hitler, but I didn't know that I was doing it. Just so, I'm a Michigander. I'm quaint. Pure Michigan. As if we're just fucking bumpkins up here. Michigan is like a multicultural hub. It's a peninsula with sandy beaches, all 4 seasons, incredible agriculture. It's got multiple universities. It's an educated group of people, and then in between those spaces are rural farmers. She thinks this is like a white state, and it's just so clearly like a multicultural. Overall, I think Ames union, like progressive. They are, some of them are, well, a lot of people are undereducated, though. That's definitely true of Michigan. Part of the reason I wanted to be a teacher. But then they fucked teachers over.
I certainly have had my tough moments with that organization. And
so you stop accepting their funding?
You gotta get your facts straight. I have not been endorsed by AIPAC. I'm sorry. I was the first Jew elected to the Senate that was not endorsed by any Jewish group. AIPAC, J Street.
You've been the recipient of their funds.
In 2018, when I first ran, people who were members, yes. But I've not been endorsed since then. And I just got to be honest, like, I think that this is where facts really matter. I've had very, very difficult conversations with my colleagues in that organization and made a choice back in 2021. 2021, so that was the first time I was up for re-election.
Way back in 2021, wow.
And so
between 2018 and 2024, AIPAC has given her roughly $600,000. Oh, cool.
Understand that there's a sort of, like, again, cornered position, but to me, like, I call balls and strikes.
And I'm a pretty bad umpire. And you know how umpires sometimes miss balls and strikes? Well, when they threw genocide right down the middle of the plate and I fucking called it a ball, that's because the pitching team, well, they paid me $600,000 once. So they couldn't be as bad as people say. I'm also Jewish. And my whole life they have told me that Israel is the safe place for Jews to go. Even though it's pretty much the biggest source of anti-Semitism because the Zionist, expansionist, imperialist plot to steal the land of the Palestinians needs anti-Semitism. It needs the idea that they hate us because we're Jews. Like, they run propaganda all the time about, like, oh, all the Jews are getting killed everywhere. Israel is the only safe place. And that's obviously not true. CIA not beating the reptilian allegations. A reptilian? No, dude. This is definitely human dum-dum. You're thinking of Hillary Clinton. That's a reptilian.
Someone who served in the Middle East.
I have one more question I have to ask.
I served in the Middle East.
You know, we do the show. I really do my best to try to uphold, like, you know, basic human rights, Palestinian humanity, oppose the killing of innocent civilians wherever that happens. And I have to tell you, like, I feel really guilty that I'm not doing enough. I think all the time about, I'm a mom, I think all the time about those moms who can't feed their babies. Mm-hmm. Those babies are starving to death. And I just want to know, like, you're a United States Senator, you did vote for some of the bombs that were dropped on refugee camps. When kids have been sniped in the head, tents firebombed, people set on fire. The entire Gaza Strip turned into rubble. And now we're seeing these emaciated bodies of babies starving to death every day. And I
know what you can do.
Does it eat you up? Does it eat you up? Do you think, like, what more could I do? Do you regret any of your votes? Do you regret
let me tell
any
you what
sort
I
of
was working on
complicity?
this morning.
Let me tell you what I was working on this morning so that we can deflect from your question.
A group of Jewish rabbis and Muslim community leaders came together with a proposal that we are working on just getting, like, if we can't get other aid in, at least get baby formula and nutritional supplements.
Oh my God. What do you mean if we can't get other aid in? You're dumb. What do you mean if we can't? Yes, we can. It's a matter of will, dummy. Just will it. You're in the American Senate. It's the only country that can will it. You're pointless. Who's gonna do it but you? Why are you there? Useless. I need a rich dad right now to adopt me and let me be their Nepo baby so that I can just take my turn as an American senator or House of Representatives member. It's time.
For children in. Let that be kind of a green light, never has a problem. No one's trying to eat baby formula other than a baby, right?
What? That's sick as fuck! You're disgusting! First of all, yes! They are starving! They will eat baby formula! You dumbass! So now, here it is. Oh! Here, you don't deserve any dignity. Starve and eat baby formula. But you gotta feel guilty about it, because it says baby formula. So next time you see a dead baby, you'll realize, I drank that instead of a baby! You're a sick fuck, dude. Like, ugh. It's fully racist. And I don't even think Elissa Slotkin can understand how racist she is. To just like say, well, we can't let the adults get food because they could be Hamas. Dumb fuck.
That is the proposal that I've been working on all night and this morning. So in terms of what we're trying to do, there's not a moment that goes by that this isn't something that I'm working on and something that my own community, not online, but my own community has practical things that they want to do. They're willing to raise the money. They're willing to buy the formula. They're willing to do whatever we need to do to get it shipped in. That's how I spend my time.
Cool. Shipped in so that Israelis can like the IDF can take the truck and fucking burn it. Great. That's so cool. You know what I would prefer? If you took a moment to pressure the other senators that run the fucking country to try to get into motion something to help that's real. That's not a fucking truck of baby formula that's going to get burned. We're just going to have to wear this fucking horror.
But
That
you're
is
not
how
willing
my
to cut off aid to Israel.
To me, that to me is the most effective thing that I can do today.
This is a subtle question. Your staff is telling us you absolutely have to go. So we appreciate your time. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Senator.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you.
Why? I'm trying to understand why this guy is a Nazi. I guess the whole thing is there like a save this guy vibe to the thing? Because he's like not screaming, or is it just because in this case Elissa Slotkin was here and they were able to team up on it? Because that was the quietest Nazi I've ever seen. That was excellent work by Krystal. Terrible work by Elissa Slotkin, and I guarantee you it'll take a long time for them to get another senator on there, if they're aware of this. Liberals are just ridiculous, ineffective, slimy cowards. I am disappointed and not surprised by liberal failure. It's just a fucking shame, man. Human beings are capable of many atrocities. It's not in the top 5, maybe not even in the top 10, but in the top 20, liberals are up there. What atrocious beings. Atrocious creatures. Maybe just below fascists.